Let's start with the first component we're going to add to the circuit, the RGB LED. So basically what I'm going to do for the lessons on creating the circuit is I'm going to create a circuit first on a simulation here on a Tinkercad, and then I'm gonna show you the real circuit. Okay, I use this simulation here because it's simply easier to show you how to connect the components. Okay, I'm not gonna use the simulation for the course, just to create the circuit. And if you want to create an account on Tinkercad, so that's free, that's a free tool, you go on tinkercad.com, okay, you just create your account, and then you go to circuit, and you can do create new circuit here, and that is where I am right now. The first thing I'm gonna do is to add an Arduino board here, so Arduino Uno, and I'm going to add a breadboard. So let's use a breadboard, let's use a full-size breadboard. Okay, so the components, you can see here you have all the components, you just search and you have the different components. I'm gonna put the Arduino here like that. And before we actually add the RGB LED, I'm going to connect those two lines here. So the minus line, I'm gonna connect here like that to the ground. Okay, so let's first connect the ground. So let's make a line for ground and a line for a 5 volt, okay, between the Arduino and the breadboard. Okay, so the ground line will be black and the 5 volt line will be red. Okay, so that's important. First you connect the ground here of the breadboard to the ground of the Arduino, and 5 volt of the breadboard to 5 volt of the Arduino. So you can just add a black wire here and a red wire here. Okay, now that we have this down, I'm gonna search for RGB LED and just take it here and plug it. Let's plug it here. So actually, let's plug it here. So one thing is that if you don't have an RGB LED, you can also use 3 different LEDs. Okay, you probably know how to create a circuit with 1 LED, so you could create a circuit with 3 LEDs if you don't have the RGB. Okay, and for the RGB, well, you can see that you have 4 legs, okay, and here we see red, cathode, blue, green. So here the order you can see is red, blue, and green, but maybe the order for the colors on your RGB LED and for my RGB LED, for the physical one that I'm gonna show you just after, is not red, blue, green, but red, green, and blue. Okay, so that you can of course experiment with the colors and then find out. And then the pin here, the LED cathode, which is actually the longer leg of the LED. Okay, so you just check what is the longer leg, and this is the cathode or this is the anode, depends. If this is a cathode, what you're gonna do is you're gonna simply link this to the ground. Okay, so let's use a black wire. Okay, use black wire if possible for the ground and red for VCC or 5 volt. So now that I have this ground line, I can just link the cathode to the ground. If this is an anode, you would need to link to 5 volt. And how to know that? Well, you have to check the manual or the description of what you bought, because you can't just find out from the component. And if you are not sure, then try with the cathode mode like this, and then make the code, make the experimentation. And if it doesn't work, then try to plug this to 5 volt and see if that works. All right, and now, well, for each of the colors here, I'm gonna add a resistor. So resistor, let's add a resistor here between, for example, the red and a digital pin here. And we are gonna use a 220 ohm resistor. Okay, you can see here the color is red, red, and brown for a 4-band resistor. If you have a 5-band resistor, that's gonna be red, red, and then black and black. Okay, and I'm gonna here connect this to digital pin number 11 on the Arduino Uno. So let's change the color actually. Let's use orange. Okay, let's avoid black and red. And I'm gonna copy this here and copy this here. I'm going to connect the blue line to pin 10. Let's put it blue so it's easier to recognize it, and the green to pin 9. And let's put it green also. Alright, and the circuit is done. So one thing that is very important is to make sure that you connect the 3 LEDs or the 3 legs, okay, of the RGB LED to pins where you have a tilde here, as you can see, so that you can use the PWM functionality. Okay, because we are going to use the analog write function. So here I have chosen 11, 10, and 9, which are all PWM compatible. But you can see, for example, on the Arduino Uno, we have also the 6, the 5, and the 3, and it may also depend on the board you have, so make sure you have PWM functionality. And this is the real circuit with the RGB LED. So very important, first of all, before you do anything with the Arduino, just make sure to unplug your Arduino from the Raspberry Pi. So the Raspberry Pi is still powered on, as you can see, the LED is here, but we have powered off the Arduino. Okay, and then you can see we have, so here we have the red and the black wires, okay, to make the common ground and the common 5 volt on the breadboard. I have plugged my RGB here. The longer leg is actually the second one on the left. So I connect this to the ground line here with this small black wire. And then for each of the other legs, I have a 220 ohm resistor. And then this other part of the resistor goes to a digital pin here. Okay, this one is actually out. Let's put it in. And you can see I have connected from pin 11, 10, and 9. And one difference from the Tinkercad simulation is that here my colors are actually red, green, and blue. Okay, how to know that? Well, I have just made some experimentations. Okay, so I have used a wire which is white, green, and blue. Okay, just for the 3 colors. It doesn't really matter the color of the wires. Okay, it's just to give you maybe some indication so you don't make more mistakes in the future. All right, so you can see that's the circuit.